Misha. I am going to talk today a little bit about acanthosis nigricans, or those dark skin patches that you have on your elbows, neck, knees. And I'm going to explain to you why you're having them, but I also want to go over all of the other things that are listed up here because it's important. It's all linked to insulin resistance, and most of us do not know that. And so for me, I consider myself the connect the dots lady, right? If you understand the dots and how they all link up, then you can have better control over your health and how you're going to get better. So acanthosis nigricans, like you look at the elbow up there, those dark patches, that's what I'm talking about. But they don't just happen on your elbows. They can be on your knees. They can be in your groin. They can be around your neck. I've seen them on people with ankles where their ankles are starting to swell and they're getting these dark rings around their ankles because their shoes are rubbing there. That's all linked to insulin resistance. And so we're going to dive in this afternoon a little bit and go over why that's happening and what it looks like and how you can actually get better from it. But it also links into the other things like acne, skin takes, dark skin patches, wrinkles, psoriasis, eczema, even things like bone loss, muscle loss, and arthritis. So although I'm talking about skin, I want you to understand that all you really need to do is get this insulin resistance under control, and that's going to help you with a number of things that you are likely suffering with, especially when scientists and doctors are now stating that insulin resistance is linked to almost everything that we suffer from today. You'll start to see why as you hang out with me, and I'm more than happy to talk about all that. I love when you guys ask questions, so please keep it up because it's not about me just spewing stuff out, it's about you guys getting the answers you need. So let's dive in, can we, a little bit about acanthosis nigricans, and then I'll explain a little bit about insulin resistance, and we'll just take off from there and go wherever you guys want to go with this today. But look, my elbow looked like that, if not worse, when I started the protocol. I'm going to talk about when I started learning about insulin resistance, when I started figuring out why I was getting sick and nobody was able to help me. And not only that, that was me on the left in 2020-21, and that was me this spring. So 2021 to 2023, I mean, I lost 50 pounds in my first 5 months. I've kept it off even with a number of other health challenges I've had going on. But more than that, like you look at my elbows now and you see that there's none of that dark skin patches. They're not rough, they're not scaly, they're not dark. That helps me understand that I'm insulin sensitive. And why do I use that as an indicator? Because our skin is not only our first line of defense for our body, it's also our first warning sign in our body. So oftentimes for many people, that sign of the acanthosis nigricans will help you understand that you're already having some insulin resistance going on. Share Bear, some of these are flying by. So intermittent fasting and work to get rid of insulin resistance is cured by rosacea. Yeah. So like I used to have melasma, like these big dark patches along the side of my face that made me not want to go out in public because I felt like I was some kind of character off of Star Trek. Like it was bad. That's gotten better, and unless I'm in intense sun all the time, you don't even see it anymore. I was told that I would never be able to get rid of that. I was told that that was always going to be in my life. Um, Share off blood pressure meds and fibromyalgia meds. So along with the protocol I talk about, myositis, I am not very familiar with that one, Gloria, so I'm not going to speak on it today, but I will look it up, and if I can find links between insulin resistance and this and explain that. And when I look for links, guys, I'm not going to the typical pages. I'm looking at the NIH. I'm looking at Club Med, and a number of sources are cited by doctors and researchers who actually know what they're talking about. So give me a moment. Not today. I don't want to dive into something I don't know anything about because I don't like talking out the side of my mouth. It hurts me as much as it does you. So I will look it up and see what I can find. Let me write it down. I gotta find a pen to do that. Okay, so with that, all right. So with the acanthosis nigricans, somebody mentioned my fibromyalgia. I really don't suffer from it anymore since I got the insulin under control. You guys, really it comes down to getting that insulin level under control. It's a hormone that we have in our body that's producing when we take in energy. So every time we eat, we're taking in energy. And a majority of that turns into glucose in our body. When that happens, we have insulin come out. Now, we're being told to eat every 2 hours. How many of you guys have heard, and I still hear it today and it still blows me away, how many of you guys have heard from people that you've got to eat every 2 hours to keep your metabolic fires burning? So in the absence of having a spinal cord injury or disorder, I would invite you to take a look at insulin resistance and at least give it, so here's the thing, I do a natural protocol or a protocol based on real food products, give it 90 days. If you're not feeling better from your fibromyalgia and you don't feel like it fits in your life, you'll get your money back. But if in those 90 days it works, would that have been worth it for you? That's the question you've got to ask yourself. So, right, so eating every 2 hours is actually causing this problem, okay? Eating every 2 hours is actually continually putting food in your system, continually telling your body it's got to produce this hormone called insulin. So let's back up the truck a little bit and understand that piece. Every time you eat, sorry, my throat, and your body starts converting it into energy, a good amount of that's going to be either fructose or glucose, basically sugar in your bloodstream. Okay, doesn't really matter. Sugar in your bloodstream, energy in your bloodstream has to be carried to your body for it to be effective in your body. The body's going to cue insulin to be produced from your pancreas when there's energy present in your blood, and that energy normally runs about 1 teaspoon of blood sugar in the whole volume of your blood. When it gets higher than that, the body's going to be like, yo, insulin, come out, help me out, let's deliver this energy to our cells in our body. Now, that's fine. That's a great thing. We should have that happening. But when we're having it happen all the time, when we're having it happen chronically, that high level of insulin starts to become insulin resistance, and now your body starts to have problems. That's where we're at when we talk about all of these things up here, the fibromyalgia, the acanthosis, right? So fibromyalgia, when you have this excess of insulin, it's causing problems in the neural pathways, it's causing problems in your nerve pathways. So now you're having pain because if you think about your nerve pathways, they're really supposed to go like from one nerve ending to another, and there's this little burst of energy that goes between the two. With insulin resistance, those bursts are happening outside of that pathway, and now you have this pins and needles feeling, and you have muscle pain, and you have all of these other things going on, and you feel like it's out of control and nobody's able to help you. Right? So I can understand that question or that answer. Betty, that makes no sense to me. Rest controls your fibro, and you never had diabetes when you control. So insulin resistance comes long before diabetes. And I want to read this update, but I want to see if I missed anything. So Betty, and yours could be, I'm not going to say that every type of fibro is caused by insulin resistance. A majority of them are. So if that's not you, then this really doesn't apply. But what I want you to understand is I was insulin resistant for years. Doctors don't test for it. They don't tell you. I didn't know that it was an issue until I became diabetic at about the age of 56. Now we're like, uh-oh, we have a problem. Doctors still weren't saying anything about insulin resistance. And then when I found the protocol that I use, I started being like, wow, why is everything getting better? And I started learning more about insulin resistance. And now here we are. So, Debbie, you went to the doctor yesterday. You're down 49 pounds. And you have another appointment on Thursday and Friday. I would really love to hear what those updates are. When you get your blood work in, I'd love to hear what those numbers are. Hoping to get down to 50 pounds by Friday at 6 months. That's an amazing goal. That's where I was at just over 5 months, was 50 pounds down. Do you feel better? Do you feel less of that pain when you have the weight down? And um, Betty, do you have any excess weight on your body at all? Um, if you're putting weight on, and I'm not saying that it's you, but I want you to think about this. If you're putting weight on, you have insulin in your body. If you're putting excess weight on, you have excess insulin in your body. You have excess sugar in your body. So this is you probably have a different type of fibro. Okay, so that this may or may not apply to you. All right. Now, the rest thing is interesting because when you have that and you're not getting rest, cortisol goes up, your heart rate goes up. It's causing more problems with insulin resistance, which can cause more problems with the nerve damage and the nerve misfiring, and that could be part of the problem. But if this is not you, then I'm sure your doctor has it under control, okay? Because this is not the answer for everything, although I feel like it's the answer for most things. Debbie says she's walking much better, and inflammation is getting under control. I remember the day I sat down in summertime with shorts on and looked down and saw my kneecaps again for the first time in a couple of years. I squealed like a little girl, like I was shocked. It's been a while since I saw my kneecaps. Never overweight all your life. Okay. But now with that comment, I do want to come back to this. Not every diabetic is overweight. Not every insulin resistant person is overweight. So it doesn't sound like this may apply to you, and that's fine. You can still hang out and learn. If you want to give it a shot, that's great too, because it's not going to hurt anything, right? So sleep. And you know what? Even with insulin resistance, sleep is key. You guys, we are not getting enough rest, and it's causing havoc in our body. Insulin resistance can elevate your cortisol levels, but I want you to know that elevated cortisol levels also increases insulin resistance. Get sleep, get sleep, get sleep, get sleep, get sleep, get sleep. Just do it and make it more regular. You were just diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and struggling, have multiple of the problems listed. So those are all pretty common problems with insulin resistance. So Tammy, do you mind sharing how old you are? I didn't get diagnosed till I said I was about 56 when I finally got diagnosed. I had symptoms. Other people could kind of see it. They were like, Misha, go have your blood sugars checked. And I would. And I'm like, but my blood sugars are all fine. My triglycerides are fine. All of those numbers are fine. I'm healthy as a horse. I used to be a power lifter until I wasn't. Okay, and part of, when I wasn't was when I started having so much pain I couldn't work out 6 days a week anymore. I couldn't do the heavy workouts I was doing. My joints were failing. I had both hips and one knee replaced. The other knee was supposed to get replaced, but it's regenerated and it's not causing me any problems now because I got that under control. Okay, so if you're having problems with that, if there's anything specific you want to know about, ask me. I will tell you what I know in the meantime. 52, yeah. So the other thing we have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, is that as we age and as this accumulates, it's going to be more of a problem as we get older. Insulin resistance isn't just this overnight thing that happens to us and all of a sudden we're sick and we have diabetes. Do you want me to explain how it goes from this state of eating every 2 hours and eating foods that are not right for us to hyperinsulinemia, to insulin resistance, to diabetes? If you're interested in that, I'm down for it. If you don't care, then that's fine too, because not everybody does. You guys, I care about it because that's just the way my brain works, but not everybody does. So, but insulin resistance comes first, and that could be present in your body for 14 years or more before you ever get the diagnosis of diabetes. Great question. So Digital asked, how do you reverse insulin resistance? So let's go over that. If we know that eating foods that are turning into energy in our system too quickly is the problem, or that eating every 2 hours is the problem, right? Then we can understand that slowing down how much we eat and how often we eat is going to be one cue, right? But the other thing is, why is our food turning into energy too quickly in our system? Why is that all of a sudden happening? If it wasn't a problem 50 years ago, if it wasn't a problem 100 years ago, why all of a sudden in a generation has this changed? Well, because as they've continued to modify and manufacture our foods, they've broken them down. So now we're not eating as many whole foods. We're not eating foods that have the same nutrient qualities. They've been modified to be more delectable and juicy and tasty for you. And in order to do that, they had to take fibers out, among other things. Fibers are very chewy and they're very bitter and they're just not as tasty as we spoiled human beings like them to taste. So the food industry said, okay, you don't like your peaches to be the size of this little case, you want them to be the size of your fist. We're going to comply. We're going to take all of that fiber out. We're going to take a number of the other components out of that so that we can get this thing plumped up and as big as possible. So now you have this big delectable, juicy peach instead of a small, crunchy, nutrient dense one, right? So that's what's happening. The fibers that were in the small peach are stripped out to get to the big one. Now, fibers are protecting you from those energy little messages being turned into glucose too quickly. And when those fibers have been stripped away, it's like taking your protection away. So now the food is converting just too quickly. Yeah, and that, you guys, OMAD can work for some people, but OMAD gets tough, right? Because you have to really look at protein intake and a number of things. Let's go over, how do you reverse insulin resistance? So we have to understand that the fibers have been stripped, right? We have to understand that we're eating too often. Got it? Those two things are what's causing the majority of this problem. No fiber, eat too often. We eat too often because the fiber has been stripped out, so we're hungry all the time, right? Okay, so 6 simple principles. I'm gonna try and get through them quickly. Help me stay on track. You want to eat fiber first before you eat. Every time you eat, that's going to help protect you from those sugars converting too quickly. You want to prioritize protein, and this is the order you need to eat your food in: fiber, and then protein, and then healthy fats. And those fats should be things like avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, butter, ghee, and the natural fats that are on your animal meats, okay? Fiber, protein, fats. And then you're going to limit your carbs. And because most people don't understand macros, I'm going to go over carbs. There's no judgment. I didn't know at one point either, so we're all good, okay? Then you want to do some intermittent fasting or time-based eating, meaning don't eat every 2 hours. Slow it down. Give your body a rest from producing this insulin all the time. So I do a 16-8 fast. That means I don't eat for 16 hours. I eat during an 8-hour window. Those 2 meals that I have in that 8-hour window and no snacking are pretty nutrient dense because I follow that. Fiber, protein, fats. Limit my carbs, okay? Now we're into the time-based eating. That's going to help give your gut time to reset. It's going to help you burn fat for fuel. It's going to help get those insulin numbers under control. And then please, please, please hear me. I'm not saying you got to go be the power lifter that I was, or some bodybuilder, or some gymnast, or some crazed person in the gym, but move your body. Like, I went out for a walk this morning. I love it. I just try to pick up the pace on my walk if I want more cardio. But move. The more you move, the more sensitive to taking up that insulin your muscles are. We sit on our butts way too much. We eat too much, we sit too much. We don't sleep enough. Okay? So the 6 tips, and by the way, guys, go to my profile, tap on it. There is an ebook that's free to you guys that goes over all of those things I just said, kind of breaks them down a little bit further, talks about the oils I just talked about. You'll get a list of healthy proteins. Just go download it so you can understand this, okay? You don't have to buy anything. I'm not charging you for anything. Just go download the ebook. That will get you started. But now, beyond those 6 simple tips, what did I just say? We sit too much, we eat too much, and we don't sleep enough. Oh yeah, we stress too much. Those things, getting those things normalized are going to help with your insulin as well. Now, I said I was going to talk about macros, so let's talk about macros really quick. When we look at nutrients in our food, it's broken down into 2 different subsectors: micronutrients and macronutrients. Micronutrients are all like your vitamins, your minerals, your proteins, enzymes, all of this stuff. That's on the nutrition list where you have all those things, carbohydrates, all of that. the carbohydrates are macros. So the three macros, the three big nutrients in your system or in your food are fiber, protein, and carbohydrate. I'm sorry. Why do I do that to myself? We're going to start over. Protein, fats, and carbohydrates. Fiber is just a non-digestible carbohydrate. So fats, proteins, carbohydrates. Those are your three macronutrients. So what I want you guys to understand is this. If it's not a protein and it's not a fat, then it is a carbohydrate. Now there's a number of proteins, especially plant-based ones, that are also carbohydrates. So meat proteins, those kind of proteins spike your insulin half as much as what carbohydrates do. The plant proteins are going to spike your insulin a little bit more than that, maybe not as high as like bread and potato. So understand that, because I have a number of people who say, I don't eat carbohydrates, I just have peaches or pears or berries or I have vegetables. Those are all carbohydrates, right? Those are all calorie sources, energy sources. So understand that piece. Now, in order to get insulin resistance under control, we got to get those carbohydrates under control and get fibers back in. But what the heck, I just said we're stripping fibers out. So for me, instead of sitting down and eating the rainbow, which I try to get a good variety of colors in my diet, I supplement to make sure that I'm getting the right amount and kinds of fibers daily that are going to help me with my insulin resistance. Now, a number of people are able to do it on their own, and to them, amen, hallelujah. But you guys, I've tried to do it that way, and how many of you have tried to go to the grocery store? I don't know if you guys saw my post 5 shopping that I did. Holy cats. It's going to take me over a month to get through that. I forget that I live here alone and that I don't eat that much, but it's hard for me to get in enough salad, enough of those other vegetables and not have them go bad and just all the prep and stuff for them. So I choose to supplement. If you can do it that way by getting in this variety of colors, especially your dark greens and stuff in your diet, great, do that. For the rest of us, that's why we supplement, okay? Because we want it to be easy. In today's lifestyle, we are no longer the hunter-gatherers or the family farmers that we used to be. We just don't have those lifestyles. So we got to keep up with what the demands of today's life are. Now, again, people who can do that, good. I applaud that. But the rest of you guys, I supplement. So what my day looks like is I will, like, if I have dinner at 6 o'clock, I will stop eating. No popcorn, no snacks, no candies, no sugars, no treats, no chips, no whatever at night, because we don't need it. That's part of the problem. I wake up in the morning, by 6 o'clock I've been through 12 hours of fasting because I haven't eaten for 12 hours. Now all I got to do is wait 4 more hours. For me, that's about 10 in the morning, right? Now anytime after that I can break my fast or have breakfast. Sometimes breakfast is like a hamburger. Most of the time it's some kind of like steak, no nitrate sausage or something like that, or no nitrate bacon and some eggs. That's usually breakfast for me. Really high in protein, some real fats. Now if I feel like things are a little too lean, I may add in some avocado for those healthy fats. Okay, then my second meal, I have a little more freedom. If I want to have pasta, I have pasta. If I want to have pizza, I have pizza. If I want to have a burger on a bun, I have a burger on a bun. You guys, I am not the one that's like this really strict. If you want to do strict keto and that's sustainable for your life, do it. But if it's not sustainable for your life, live a real life and utilize the tools that I'm going to show you in a second to help you along the way. Okay, so what my day looks like is that tea in the morning shuts down my hunger, gives me mental clarity, gives me energy, allows me to make it through that fast because I'm burning my own fat for fuel. And so I'm really not hungry and I'm really not lacking any energy and I'm certainly not lacking mental clarity. And then I go along my day, and when I think about it or when it's time, I will start to break my fast with a meal like I talked about. I'll just have my fiber first. So I use this as a supplement because I want to make sure I'm getting it in. Remember, my first meal is high in proteins and fats. That's really how you want to break your fast, by the way. And I just want to make sure that I'm getting those fibers in. So I pour this in some water, shake it up, and drink it down. Now I have the specific fibers that my body's looking for to help break down glucose and slow down glucose and fats from entering my system too quickly. And then it helps me feel full quicker, it helps me feel full longer, just works all the way around. I wait 4 to 6 hours, I have my second meal, I do the same thing, and that's it. That's all I have to do. So doing that is how I lost 50 pounds in just under 5 months. I got rid of my acanthosis nigricans, and I got rid of everything on this list except for the erectile dysfunction. Debbie, Hero Bread, tuna, cheese. So explain to me Hero Bread. You know what, I did keto for years, and although I love it, there's times when I just love a croissant. So my dinner last night, I had some of that. They tip all it Marry Me chicken, or it's Tuscan chicken. So I added some spinach to mine, sauteed some mushrooms, some spinach, cooked up my chicken, added a little garlic just before I got done sauteing, poured some heavy cream in it and some spices, let that simmer for a long time, and then added in some tomatoes, for some fresh, like, quartered cherry tomatoes. That was dinner. But it doesn't thicken up a lot, so, and that's fine with me. So I used my croissant to dip up all that goodness from the excess, and I'm okay with it. If you want to do better, do the Hero Bread, but if you're like me and you just want that croissant or something once in a while, this helps protect me from those carbohydrates converting too quickly in my system. Has one net carb or one net carb mission or egg life. Yeah, no, I've used Egg Life wraps for a number of things, and I love those. So those are amazing. Debbie, thank you for sending me the pictures. I would love to know about this Hero Bread. Because be careful with your breads too. Not everything that's labeled as healthy in the market is healthy for you. Because it has more fiber just means it has to have, or high in fiber just means it has to have a percentage of fiber higher than the next brand. Doesn't mean it's really got all the fibers you need in it. Doesn't mean it's really as good for you as you need it to be. I'm a little quirky. Some of these things I like, but some of them I would rather just not have the bread than to try and do a fake bread, but everybody gets to make their choice, right? I remember eating hamburgers for years while I was competing, where I just had it between lettuce and no bread. So lettuce, tomato, spinach, onion, some mustard, and that was my hamburger. And cheese, of course, cheese. Amazing. Yeah, Subway's actually kind of stepping up their game, right? Because there are so many ways that you can make this livable without going out of whack. So Debbie, I love these tips, but for the rest of you guys who are thinking, oh my God, they're gonna make me change my diet up and they're gonna make me do all these weird things that I don't want to do. No, you don't have to. That's why I supplement and use the tools. Because like when I lost the first batch of my weight, I would go to Carl's Jr., I would go to McDonald's, I don't like McDonald's, but you end up there once in a while. Is it what I would recommend? No. But does it happen in the normal course of life? Yes. So I just wouldn't worry about it. I would use my tools and know that that's helping me, and it helped me get insulin resistant. You want to do better and you want to start making bigger changes, then work your way into it. But I don't want anybody to be scared and feel like, oh, I have to make this huge lifestyle change. That's not what the protocol is about. The protocol is giving that every day average person the opportunity to get your health back, start at. Now, if you're eating cake and ice cream all day, I can't help you with that. Like, we all know that's bad, right? But if you want to have pizza, if you want to have pasta, if you want to have Indian food, if you want to have, I love Mexican food. I'm hoping to go back to Washington State this next month to visit my granddaughters who both have their birthdays in November, and they have some really good Mexican food up there. You know we're going out for Mexican, right? We are, because I love where I live in Maryland, but there just is not that quality of Mexican food out here. Just isn't. But that's the cool thing, is I don't have to worry about it. You guys, Do I try to do better like Debbie's suggesting most days? Yes. Do I do it all the time? Does my life revolve around that? No. I've still been able to get rid of all of this stuff by having a real life. It's really what the protocol is about. When we say food freedom, it means that you have the freedom to eat the foods you love when you want them. It's not dumpster diving for food, right? So don't go think you're going to have garbage junk all day long and get better. That's just not realistic. But I like people to start where they're at and then get better as they can. Okay, so I think I saw those Egg Life wraps. Where did I find them? You know what? My favorite store is Wegmans, but I think I actually found them in a Giant store. And it's crazy because they're made out of egg, right, Debbie? Yeah. Oh my gosh. I gotta finish up my thought. The egg wraps, you guys love them, love them, love them. I was actually making little omelets out of them, so it's egg on egg, but that's okay with me because it's high in protein, right? But pizza bowl once a week. We have regular pizza. With my gallbladder, I have to tap out. I can no longer have pizza. I tried it again this weekend with my grandson. Just a couple of slices of pretty clean pizza, and I was sick as a dog. But a friend of mine had a thing where she cut up cold pizza, took her kitchen shears and cut up the cold pizza on top of a salad. And I'm like, what? I have never seen anybody do that. So pizza bowls are great. I like to do pizza quesadillas and stuff. I did them for my grandson's birthday party. I did a lot of like weird barbecue pork quesadillas, just like put stuff all over. Marco's pizza bowls. Is that is Marco the pizza man pizza bowls, or are we talking something different? I want to make sure we're on the same track. You guys, the clue is it doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be hard. And I don't want it to be hard for anybody. It's not sustainable if it's hard, right? If you choose to do better, if you choose to do all the other things like I'm doing, great. But I want you to know that you can get better and make it sustainable and make it easy. So tell me about Marco's pizza bowls. I do like pizza style omelets, and there's some really great options out there. Working on a cookbook right now. It's pretty north northeastern or northwestern U.S. kind of food, but I'm trying to put a few other dishes in there, so that look, and it's not going to be a keto book. It's going to be a book that is made of stuff that you can find readily without really crazy tools that help you stick to this thing and get your insulin resistance under control while you're eating what you love. So I have a number of drink recipes in there. You guys, we can do a lot with this tea. One of the things I did as I'm working through this is I made my own chai spices, and I made this hot one morning because it was cold. Threw a little bit of the chai spices in there. If you haven't tried it, Debbie, amazing, amazing. It does have a little bit of a lemony flavor to it. I think I used the lemon ginger for it, but it was an amazing way to switch it up for the morning. Still does not break your fast. All those chai spices are super good for your metabolism. Yeah, you know what? And Dr. Fung talks about that. Our food should be simple. If we want to go have big, fancy, crazy dishes once in a while, that's okay. But when we revolve our life around that, what we're training ourselves to do is crave more and more food, more variety in our food, and it's contributing to this problem. What we really should be doing is eating simply, like in my home, again, because it's just me. Whatever vegetables I buy for the week, you know that I'm going to be making a variety of dishes that week utilizing those. And some of my favorite ones are, I love the dark leafy greens. I love spinach. That's always in my fridge. Onions, red or yellow, typically red. Some cherry tomatoes, some mushrooms, and then maybe some bell peppers. Those are the ones that I have in my fridge all the time. I'll switch it up and throw in asparagus or green beans once in a while. But most often, those are the things I eat on. So whatever I'm cooking for the week looks like that mixed up in whatever ways. I also use a lot of coconut milk and heavy cream in cooking. You guys, when you do, thanks for those images, Debbie. When you do, when you do low fat milk, what you're really getting is carbohydrates. I see you set one on a snack. I'm gonna look at that because if it's okay, I'll talk to you after this and maybe we'll work some of those in because that's gonna be for my people on subscription. But yeah, like little fat bombs. There's ways to make cheesecake and stuff that's just amazing. That's not high in calorie or not high. It is high in calories, but not high in sugars. And so we also, I want you guys to understand, since we're talking all about food, look at, like, Dr. Yao came out with this book. It's called Why Calories Don't Count. If you want to know part of why we talk the way we do, I don't care as much about the calories as long as they're coming from proteins and fats as I do about the amount of carbohydrates you're getting in, and especially the amount of processed carbohydrates you're getting in. So calories really are not the big indicator of what's going on with our health and our weight. It's the sugars that we're eating and the insulin response that we're having. So it's a hormonal response, not a caloric response. I mean, in part it is, but if you guys can shift that, like some of the morning drinks that I make when I'm breaking a fast are like high in fats. So some of them even have some spinach in it, avocado. You don't taste it. Like I have a peanut butter chocolate morning shake that I'll have when I'm breaking a fast. Amazing. I'm in chocolate chip one. You guys, does that sound like you're not getting what you need? No. It's I eat the things I love. If I don't like it, it's not in my kitchen. And if I want to have something that's not on that list, I will still have it and just understand that the rest of the week I'll do better. And that's what I encourage everyone else to do and understand too. Yeah, eating, but what Dr. Fung was saying is that the more simply we can eat like that, the more we'll help ourselves become insulin sensitive. Now we're not craving all of those weird, crazy foods that are causing us to want to overeat and just eat too much all the time. Okay? So, Vicky, day 2 and you're excited. You drink half the 24 ounce and yeah. So I had a morning this morning. I already had a 40 ounce, so there was 2 teas in this. It's gone. This is water. But yeah, and you guys, I want you to understand that too. Let's go over before I get too crazy with stuff. This is real food products. So it doesn't, you can have more than 1 tea in a day. You can have more than 2 of the pre-meal drink in a day. So the days where I do have more meals, I just have an extra pre-meal drink. The days where I feel like I'm struggling and need more energy, I just have an extra drink. It's easy and it's simple. So again, a tea in the morning and a pre-meal drink before I eat anything, that's my day, most days. If I need to add more to it, then I will. It just depends on what's going on in my life. So today is my day to go see my grandson. So I'm kind of jumping the gun, but I do want to go see him soon. So let's show you guys where to get this. And then, why is that looking cray cray? All right, so if you click on my link up above, on my picture up above, that will take you to my profile. So this is where you're going to find the products, right? And my messy hair. I love French music. I'm part French. Something new today. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I'm just like having struggle bus at the moment because I'm thinking about my grandson. Let's flip this camera around. All right. Guys, camera flip. I want none. Why is that doing that? All right, sorry guys. Now you just saw some of my dysfunction. It's all right. Love me through it. All right. So when you get to my profile, you're going to see this. You're going to see these red lights over here and the link underneath of them. Click on that, and that will take you to the page where you're going to find all this information. This you'll find more and less information on this day depending on what's going on. I do have a website. There's the free ebook I was talking about, a way to get a hold of me if you need to chat with me. Been on the phone half the day with people, and that's fine. The Facebook group, and then the recommendations, the ketone tester I use, the books I read, all of that, the stuff I'm using to help with the no gallbladder, that's all found here. I don't sell any of that, just people ask, so I put together a page so you guys could see. So when people ask, they can find it. All right, now if you click on this link on the top, it's going to take you to this page where you will see my name at the top. And the buy now over here, just click on that, and that's where you're going to find the system, the tea that you have in the morning, hot or cold, and the pre-meal drink. The tea, you get your choice between lemon or lemon ginger. The pre-meal drink, you get your choice between apple crush and orange. Apple crush is amazing. I haven't gotten mine yet, but I love that flavor. You can get the orange anytime. Stick with that right now. This would be my suggestion. Unless you're just an orange lover. The orange tastes like an orange creamsicle, and the apple crush has a little bit more tartness to it. Then you're going to choose one-time purchase or monthly subscription, guys. Look, this is in earnest. Earnest is a big word for me lately. I don't know why. But in earnest. If you're going to buy it, just put it on subscription for these reasons. It's going to save you $5 off of that purchase. It's going to save you $10 in the shipping because they pay for the shipping. You get this free, really cool hand mixer that helps you with the tea. You can cancel it at any time. So don't spend more money than you need to. We all have concerns with budget, right? So do yourself the favor. So Vicky says day 2. Yeah, we already read that one. Okay, guys, so that's where you find it. Vicky, I'm really happy for you. Debbie, thanks for all those messages. I can't wait to go see them. Guys, I'm going to go do a video on that Acanthosis nigricans. Then I'm going to ditch out and go see my grandson because he's already probably asking his mama where Nana's at. So I'll see y'all in the morning. Thanks for hanging out with me again this afternoon. And I got to figure out how to close this all down. We'll talk to you in the morning. Does anybody have any questions before I head out?